All right, guys, so this is going to be the trade recap. I don't know what day we're on, but I'm going to go over the trade I took currently. And yeah, let's go over this real quick. I'm trying to get back to the podcast I'm watching. Got to go to work at 12. I'm trying to do a lot of things, but let's get over this trade. I know you saw, I'm going to go over the bias. I'm going to go over why I took this trade, how I was looking at NQ, what I was expecting from the Telegram. I'm about to pull all that up right now. All right, so from the Telegram, I was pretty much expecting the market to come back down and then move higher. But then I realized we can have either scenario. We can chop around, move up higher, and then come back down. And that's kind of what the TGIF for Friday looked like for me on the telly for NQ. And that's pretty much not what happened at all. What happened was we did move up higher, and then we came back down. We manipulated, though, at 9:30 to then eventually start to move up higher. The best entry here would have been at the 3-minute inversion or the 3-minute buy and imbalance also, but you also have to consider the time elements here at 9:30. And then eventually you can see that there that the market eventually did start to pump up higher, which was nice to see. So yeah, there was a 15-minute CRT. There was the 3-minute inversion with the 3-minute buy and imbalance. The market did hold and eventually started to pump up. This is kind of where the market just started to gyrate up, and your first target could have been this high up here, and that was pretty much really your first objective being met while also already meeting it at 9:30. And yeah, that was pretty much really it. Once we started to move up higher on the 15, I really couldn't find anything to trade here. So there was just no trade idea for me to formulate anything really. Again, 8:30, the manipulation. This is kind of where everything is manipulating. Whenever you're moving under 8:30, the past 2 days I've been noticing you manipulate. This is all your manipulation to then eventually give you the real move to then eventually move higher. So I'm going to start doing that, start implementing it, and just trying to really dive deep into it more and more. Because yesterday, really the same thing happened. Once we saw 8:30 right around here, you see 8:30, everything up here was a manipulation to then move lower. And then eventually started to move back up higher because the bias was bullish. But that was pretty much really it for NQ. Once we started to move up higher, there was no trade idea in here for me. And the targets also, again, filling in this gap right here, reaching for these relative equal highs on the daily, so pretty simple, pretty sweet. Probably next week I'll probably look for something to trade here for longs. Again, right now is not really ideal. We're just spiking up higher. And if you didn't catch this move in here, to me personally, I just don't want to be buying in a premium. Rather buy here and hold to up there, but here was the second trade idea, or the trade we took right now. So we're gonna go to the 30-minute. The 30-minute was the main time frame. So on the 30-minute, we had a sweep. We were moving up higher. I was like, okay, either are we going to respect this for rally gap right here, the SIBI, because we disrespected this one, the BISTI right here, and are we going to make the SIBI an inverse to push up higher and reach for higher prices and follow the lead of reaching this buy side, follow ES? But I was like, okay, if that doesn't happen and we disrespect this, we're likely to reach for here. And again, we formed the 15-minute CRT. We swept the high. We closed back above. We closed back below, and then eventually this candle we opened up and we moved up higher to then eventually reach for this low. I did get out early, as you saw on the 3-minute time frame. This is kind of where I entered right here. So again, this is my 3-minute entry on the 15-minute time frame, advanced CRT. You could have entered off the confirmational again, but I just didn't, and I did move my stop to break even a little bit too soon. So the 3-minute entry right here was the 3-minute. It was a 5-minute actually. It was a 5-minute inversion, I should say, not a 3-minute. So it was a 5-minute inversion. We closed back below, and then we opened up and moved up higher. This is where your change in state of delivery was. That's kind of where I was aiming to move my stop loss to break even. But then I realized, like the 1 minute has a bullish BPR. We can either push up higher respecting this, and that's kind of got me a little bit more. It got me more fearful. Then we moved up higher, and I got stopped out there. Either way, we would have got stopped out break even from this move up higher, this impulsive move. I don't know if I would have re-entered. I'm not too sure, but either way, this trade idea, it was a decent one. I will have it journaled right now. It was a good trade, it was a good trade. I don't mind taking certain trades like this, but it's really just the trade management that needs to be worked on, where we moved the stop too early. Where would we want it to have taken profit, certain things like that. If this got disrespected, then eventually, you probably want to close the trade. So certain things like that, if this fairly got disrespected, we close the trade. And yeah, that's pretty much really it. No trade idea for NQ. It was pretty simple, pretty sweet today, honestly. Very, very fast pace. If you weren't in the move, you're basically sidelined. And that's basically really it. Today we're only up around $32. Let's pull up the trade idea too, or the execution. All right, so here it is. Boom, boom, boom. We entered off of the 5-minute. As you can see, this is the 5-minute time frame up there. And then eventually you can see we started to move up higher. We were getting patient. We were just being patient, holding the trade idea, and then eventually you can see once we started to flush down, we had the mitigation. The mitigation block there, the bearish one. We drew the mean threshold once we started to get below it. I didn't want to see the market come back up, and I did. Once we saw this bearish, the bullish BPR get inverse. Oh no, it didn't get inverse. So That should have been another thing. We didn't inverse it, so I think we should have just been a little bit more patient there. Moving the stop back up there. Putting it at least above this high since this SIBI was filled and this is your intermediate term high, at least mitigating the risk a little bit. And then eventually you can see the market just started to dump after that. And it was just, one little spike up to come back all the way down. And it's just very unfortunate, honestly, at this point, that we were just fearful, not being able to hold the trade idea. Even if it does come back to break even, the trade idea still played out. The market is still in our favor. So again, it's not trusting the bias, not trusting the narrative, not trusting the system enough. So we have to review. We have to continue to show up every single day. And over time, again, we'll build out trust, since I haven't really been on the charts as much. So, and yeah, just need to be reviewing more, constantly journaling, reviewing my journal, showing up every day, taking those high quality setups, trying to refine my system, improve it, learn from my losses, repeat the wins, certain things like that, so that's going to be pretty much really it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Peace.